Hi there, everyone. This is Darren with SimNation. Just doing a quick recap video for SNCFL, which is our Draft Day Sports College Football 2026 FBS League here at SimNation. We just completed week 10. Kind of walk you through a couple of things real quick. I don't expect the top 25 to change very much. This week will probably be one of the better chances for it to change because you have Maryland taking on Michigan, so number 2 versus number 4. But coming in at number 1 is Invisible Witness. He's held this spot for quite a bit, and candidly, right now, if you look at the teams, Auburn probably is really maybe the best team in the league right now. Maryland comes in at number 2, Clemson, which is Matt, at number 3, Stuart with his Michigan Wolverines at number 4. He also has the number 5 team in UCLA. TCU is a shock at number 6. This is a CPU team, by the way. Number 7 is Georgia with Shark. Number 8 is another CPU team with Ohio State. My last Steel Zero to Hero team, Texas Tech, is coming in at number 9. One of Shark's old teams, like Ohio State, Coastal Carolina, comes in at number 10. Got Skelter at number 11 with his Louisiana Monroe. Warhawks, Invisible set up Louisiana Lafayette really good, so they come in at number 12. And then really you have a couple of CPU teams after that with San Jose State, Florida International. Before you get to Stuart and his Georgia State Panthers, who are having a really good season, by the way. At number 16, so if the playoffs were to start today, at number 16 would be Tony and his South SMU Mustangs. And then you have a CPU team at number 17 with Boise State. You have Bama with his Cal Golden Bills at number 18. My Zero to Hero team, Kentucky, comes in at number 19. East Carolina comes at number 20. Stuart has another team in the top 25 at number 21 with Duke. Skelter's other team, Oklahoma State, comes in at number 22. And then you really have the rest of those are all CPU teams with Colorado State, Western Michigan, and Texas. So if we look through real quick, I'm not going to go through the standings because I did that in the last video, but I'm just going to kind of highlight some games this week that are kind of really important to um, the league. So Florida State versus Clemson. This is Matt versus the CPU. Clemson's going to win this one easily. Duke versus Pittsburgh. Stewart should win this one pretty easily. He'll probably easily cover the spread too. Same thing with Clemson, Florida State. Foggy with Central Florida should down Connecticut. Should cover the spread. SMU versus Tulane. This one will be a good game. It would have been a better game if Shark was still at Tulane, but he set them up pretty well, so Tony will have to deal with that. But I still see SMU winning this by at least 2 touchdowns. One of the top games of the week is definitely Texas Tech versus Oklahoma State. This is my former Zero to Hero team versus Skelter. This one really may determine who wins the Big 12 ultimately, and these two teams could potentially see each other again. BYU versus West Virginia. This is V Gorilla at West Virginia, who's having a pretty good season. He should easily get by BYU. And then, of course, probably the game of the week is going to be Michigan versus Maryland. Um, this one will be interesting. It's the weather conditions are pretty bad. I do think Maryland will win this one, but it's going to come down instead of passing, probably to running. And both teams have really good running backs. Of course, Michigan has the former Maryland running back Krugel, and then Maryland has Bean. So it'll be a battle really of those two. With quarterback play, if it comes down to it differentiating it, which probably would balance it towards Maryland. The reason why I think Maryland wins this one is Maryland's defense is a bit stronger than Michigan's, but who knows? Maryland's been primed for a loss in the Big Ten for a while now, and it's either going to be Michigan or Iowa. If it wasn't Indiana, that's going to take them out. Michigan State, this is Garrick, who's a new coach, taking on Penn State. I like Michigan State in this one. Michigan State finally gets a reprieve from just essentially having to play all the heavyweights. Buffalo, this is Curtis. He's a new coach. Buffalo's a pretty good team. Curtis is definitely getting them in the right direction. I do see them beating Kent State. Arizona State versus UCLA. This is Stuart versus me. Arizona State, of course, is one of my 3-0 to hero teams. This is one I took over at the beginning of the season, as opposed to during the flip. This one's not going to be pretty. UCLA is going to win by a lot more than 5 points. This will probably be a blowout. Uh, Arizona State just doesn't have the talent to take on UCLA. If they do win, it would be like a cataclysmic upset, which I don't see happening. I've struggled with game planning for Stuart almost all week, and I've been thinking about it all week, about how I would play him, and I don't see a scenario where we win. USC versus Utah. This is Van at USC versus Utah. I do like USC in this one. I know they're struggling a little bit this season, but Van should get the win here. If it wasn't Maryland versus Michigan this week, the other big game would be Louisiana Monroe versus Auburn. This is Skelter versus Invisible Witness. Traditionally, this is the one that determines the East in terms of the SEC. These two teams have been going at it for a while. I do like Invisible in this one, not to put anything against Skelter. I just think Auburn is just a shade better than ULM is right now. Georgia versus Vanderbilt. Georgia has been not happy with the loss that they had to Missouri, so they're going to take this out on Vanderbilt. It won't be a 7 point. They'll more than easily cover the spread. Kentucky versus Missouri. These are two surprising teams that are really making noise in the SEC West. Of course, Kentucky is my zero to hero team. I think Missouri wins this one. Kentucky is living on a prayer right now, so I don't know that they're going to be able to get past Missouri, especially since Georgia didn't. Then you got Tennessee versus LSU. This is Udo versus LSU. Tennessee's not quite having the season that Udo wanted, but I think it's just going to get a little bit worse because I think LSU is a pretty good team. Unless you're going to really commit to blitzing and guarding the pass with things like press formations, I see LSU winning this one. Arkansas versus South Alabama. This one should be a good game. This is Starfinder. Congrats, Starfinder, winning a GMCFL title with Gardner Webb, one of our other leagues. I think Arkansas wins this one pretty handily. And then, of course, you have Georgia State versus Georgia Southern. Um, I see Georgia State winning this one pretty easily. In the old days, this would be DWK versus Stuart. Stuart really's got Georgia State starting to hum, and that should translate into a pretty big win for them. So, if you want to join the league, there are a lot of good teams still available out there. One thing I will say is if we look at the leaders right now, kind of Colorado State's Barrios is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Maryland isn't committing as much to the pass, mostly just because they have to run the ball a little bit more since they're now inside our Big Ten play. You look at the passing touchdowns, you do see Raymond Sumner. So this should be an interesting game because you have between Sumner and Chung, you have 60 passing touchdowns. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out with the weather being really bad. And of course, you have Chung, who's probably the second highest rated behind Barros, quarterback in the league. Rushing wise, Western Michigan sneaking in here is a little bit of a surprise, but again, that's one of Stewart's former teams. No surprise with V Gorilla having Stanley Totten be second. And then essentially you have Todd Bachman, who is one of Stewart's, and Benjamin Andrade, who is one of my players. And then probably what's more surprising is how committed to the run Western Michigan has been. You can see how they have two of the top 5 running backs. Traditionally, you only see that from like a Skelter or a Matt team. Rushing touchdowns, again, just showing how dominant Auburn has been. You have 2 of them who combined for 30 touchdowns each. You have also the normal crew who are showing up there as well. Receiving, very few people are going to catch Kenneth Fay out of Florida International. He's having just a tremendously good season. Touchdown, same thing. You see, he's got 17. Although in theory, Marquette could catch him out of Michigan. Tackles, probably just going to gloss through this, but you do see Bertram out of Baylor has 81 tackles. He's leading the league pretty substantially. This could change though, because someone could get a 10-20 tackle game in. Sack-wise, our sack leader right now is tied between three people with Ruckel out of Georgia Tech, LeBlanc out of the Oklahoma, and Hendrickson out of Coastal Carolina. You do see V Gorillas, Perry Crooks sneaking up into that list. Interception wise, again, Missouri has a very good takeaway defense. So does Temple in San Diego and Wisconsin. James Cobb's had a big game here recently. That's why he shows up. But generally, you can see that most of the people leading right now are from the big teams. I think that's it for now. If you want to join us, links are in the video. Definitely would love to have you. SNCFL is the Premier League here at SimNation. It's been around for a long, long time. But if you're interested in our other leagues, which would be GMCFL, which is a FCS league or Division One AA, that league would love to have people in it. Again, Starfinder just won that. All Smiles won it last year with South Dakota State. And then you have GSNCFL, which is our combined FCS and FBS league. I'd love to have you in that as well. So take care, have a great day, and hope you're having a good holidays.